What's up, everyone? So we have a few days before the end of this year with the new year fast approaching. Overall, I could say it's been a very good year for me in terms of savings and investments. And mainly, I attribute that with the 3 simple rules that I follow this year to make sure that I'm able to attain my financial goals. So today, I want to talk to you about these 3 simple rules that I followed because I intend to carry them on to the next year, and it's up for you to decide to see if this is something that you can also do and incorporate in your lives. So let's go. Let's get right into it. So the first thing that I believe you should start incorporating in your life is you need to start planning your expenses. So how is that really going to help you? Whenever you receive your income, whether it's from your business or from your salary, the I notice that many people do is that they buy something that they don't need, or you buy something that you think will make you feel good, but later on, you realize that you don't really have enough to get you to the next payday, and it really is painful to see this kind of sight. One of the things that really helped me a lot is that whenever I receive my salary, in my case, I do get paid every month, is that the first thing I do before I touch it is that I already plan my expenses. And the only way that you could do that is for you to first track what are you spending on. So you could do it for a few weeks or you could do it for a few months, but at this point I already have an understanding as to what am I spending on. So how much do I spend on food, transportation, on my daily commute? How much do I spend for my kids' allowance? How much do I spend for my house and for all other expenses? So whether you're supporting family members or not, it's very important for you to keep track. And by doing this, you'll be surprised how much you are actually spending on garbage. Buying expensive coffee that you don't really need, buying on clothes that you still have a lot of things to wear. Depends on your preference, but personally speaking, the only thing that's important here is that you understand what you are spending on. So I'm not here to prescribe or to dictate to you that you should not spend on this, spend on that. That's a totally different story, but it depends on your priorities. But the number one rule here is that whatever you will spend on, it has to be something that you intend to do. So let's say I get paid by end of the month. I already have plans to spend on this much when it comes to eating out with my family. This is how much I will pay credit card bills. This is how much I will pay for entertainment, for transportation. And basically what you're doing here is allocating your resources, because you need to be able to make that decision how much you're going to spend on one particular item that will be part of your expenses. Because if you don't do this, if you blindly spend here and there, you realize that weeks before you get your next pay, you probably don't have enough, because there's this saying that money is like gas or air or oxygen, that it will fill up an empty space. So if you don't allocate, if you don't plan your expenses, you will not stop having things to spend on, right? Second rule on what I believe you should start doing this new year is to make sure that no matter how much money you make, you will commit that 10% of that you will set aside even before you touch it. So what I personally do is that no matter how much money I make every month, because it would always vary, I committed myself to make sure that 10%, even though I feel that this month there will be more expenses because it's school enrollment, or I'm gonna be spending more because it's Christmas, or there are really a lot of other unexpected things. But what I learned is that you will really never run out of things to spend on, and it's always to make sure that you safeguard your future and yourself by setting aside a good 10% of your money. So what helped me a lot to just think that it's just like tax. So even before you withdraw your money, even before you receive your salary, you set it aside. It's always a good practice to have a separate savings account that you don't really have instant access so that you will not be tempted in using them. But once you start building the habit of setting aside the 10%, you'll realize it is actually kind of addictive to save money, and you will actually look forward to getting your pay, not because you could buy this and buy that, but because you know that you will have another 10% that you could save. And as you go each month, you'll realize that technically speaking, you are actually getting richer and richer, no matter how small your investment is, no matter how small your savings are. You're working hard, and you could see that your money actually goes to somewhere. Okay, so that's rule number 2. And last but not the least of the 3 rules that I follow, which I believe you should also start doing this coming new year, is you need to make sure that you start putting your money or your savings into different investment vehicles. So I don't need to explain to you that if you don't put your money in investment, basically you're just setting aside money, and by the time that you need it, let's say an emergency, I hope not, but if it ever happens, it really is a painful sight to see old people or people at their retiring age using up all of their savings because they need to pay their hospital bills, or they need to use it for their day-to-day expenses. But what's going to make a difference in your life is to be able to start putting your money into different investment vehicles. I don't know anything about that. It's not my expertise. People, technology is actually your friend. Information is available everywhere. All you need to do is just Google it, talk to people who knows about investments. You can start reading about stocks, you can start reading about cryptocurrency. You need to equip yourself here with the knowledge so that you will not be fooled into wasting your money. Don't get me wrong, me myself, I'm not really an expert. I do rely on some people that I really trust that will really give me some good information when it comes to investment. But the key here is that since I'm not an expert, I'm not really a professional trader, I'm not a professional financial advisor, I made sure that I minimize the risk of losing all of my money by putting them in different investment vehicles. So if in case that one or two of them fails, you still have some sizable amount in other areas. So personally speaking, I invest in cryptocurrency. That's my number 1 favorite. I also invest in the stock market, and I also invest in other stuff. I do have a page where I do sell stuff online, and it's also giving me passive income. Other than that, I also do have a side hustle. So it's also creating me a different source of revenue, no matter how small or how big it is. What's important is that you don't just rely on your salary or on your passive income. It's one of the things that I believe is going to really help you as well. If you do have a job, please make sure you keep it, because it's important to help you pay the bills and manage your day-to-day expenses. But if you want to get ahead, if you want to be able to save more of the 10%, you can actually start pursuing a side hustle where it has to be something that you're very passionate about, something that you think you are very good at, and no matter how much you're going to be paid or how much you're going to earn from it, as long as it's something that you love doing, something that you're good at, then I assure you that you'll be able to generate income, whether it's cooking, whether it's about food, doing a freelance work, or if you know how to dance, teaching some people to do that, tutorial lessons. There's so many options that you could take, but it has to be something that, again, either you're very good at or something that you love doing. Because if you already have a job and you're going to jump into a side hustle that you hate, I can only imagine how much stressful that would be for you. So you don't really want to do that. So again, I would just like to do a quick recap of the 3 rules that I believe you should start doing this coming new year. So number 1, start planning your expenses. Do keep a tracker. Make sure that your expenses are intentional. Number 2, save at least 10% of whatever you're earning even before you touch it. Consider it like tax and make sure that you don't easily have access to it. And the third one is start investing in not just your money, but start investing in yourself. Read about different investment vehicles. Equip yourself with the knowledge in being able to maximize your earnings. So those are the 3 things that I'm doing, and I can guarantee you that by the new year, some things that I will continue to do. So as promised, they are very simple, but I didn't say that they are very easy, because these 3 things are something that I know a lot of people already know about. But I think it's about time that you give it a little push to make sure that you enjoy your earnings. So that's all for me. Thank you and Happy New Year.